Hello friends, welcome to my channel Printf Developer World. In our last video, we briefly studied about memory layout of a C or a C++ program. In today's video, let us study more about the usage of pointers. Pointer is a variable that holds address of another variable. Pointers can be effectively used to manage your program's memory and they significantly improve performance when traversing data structures like trees, linked lists, etc. When you want to work with the amount of memory that is not known to you at compile time, or in other words, the amount of memory required is known only during runtime, then you have to work with heap memory. And when you are making use of your heap memory, then we have to definitely use pointers to work with your dynamic memory or heap memory. Pointers are also extensively used when you are working with your memory mapped devices, that is when you are doing an IO with your memory mapped devices in your embedded systems program. Now let us write some code to understand more about pointers. This is a simple program where I have written where I have taken an integer variable whose value is 10, and then I have created a pointer variable. This is a pointer to an integer which is holding address of A. This is a simple syntax: data type followed by asterisk and then your variable name. Now let us try and print address of A as well as value of A. See, your address of A is and the value of APTR is same, which means your APTR is holding address of A. Now let us see how we can access A using our APTR. This is how access your value, that is to which APTR is pointing to. This is called dereferencing. An asterisk followed by your pointer variable. This is syntax of dereferencing a pointer. When you dereference a pointer, it will get the access to the value to which APTR is pointing to. Here APTR is pointing to A, so if we try to dereference APTR, we'll get the value of A. Let's try and run our program. See, it print 10. This is how you dereference a pointer. Now let us try doing more operations on our pointers. Let us assume I want to increment my A. This is one way through which I can increment my A. Let's see. I should be getting 11 as my output. See, I got 11 as output because my A got incremented properly. Now let us try and see if we can do the same thing with our APTR. This time we got slightly different thing. Our A's value is still 7 even though we incremented APTR, and if we try to dereference APTR, it's printing some junk value. Let us see what's going wrong in our program. This is what we did, right? We incremented APTR using our prefix operator. We try to print A, and as well as we try to dereference APTR. No, this is very, it's a big mistake. We have done a very, big blunder here. What we did is we tried to increment the value of APTR, and we all know that APTR is pointing to A. So if we increment APTR, right, the value inside APTR got changed. That means it's no more pointing to A. The memory address present in APTR is something different. See, it's no more DE64FC, it's DE650, which is not a valid memory. That's why if we try to dereference, right, we got junk value and our A also didn't change. Now how do we fix this? First we dereference the value and then increment. Yeah, now we got the values as expected. We got 12 printed. Now our APTR is also pointing back to our original A. Now that's how, when working with pointers, you have to be very careful. If you observe, right, earlier we just did plus APTR, which means our APTR is no more pointing to valid memory and it's a dangling pointer. So you have to be very careful when working with pointers. In this case, it was printing some junk value and it was undefined behavior. Your program even could crash. Your program doesn't work as expected. That's how careful you have to be when working with pointers. Now let us take one more example of using pointers. This is a simple class, and I have a constructor, destructor, and I have a simple method access sample which prints access sample. Now let us when I run my program, right, we got our sample object created twice, but it got destroyed only once. The reason being, this variable got automatically destroyed, but this isn't destroyed. Since this is main, our program exited and it doesn't cost much to us. Assume you're calling inside this main, you're calling some more functions, and inside those functions you're doing this repetitively before your main exits, and you don't release this memory. Your program is going to consume your heap memory and it will crash eventually at some point of time. So you have to release the memory when you are done with your processing of that variable. So assume you have accessed that object and it is your responsibility to delete that obj1. Oops, there was a typo, sorry. Yeah, now your object got created. You have created two objects and we accessed our pointer variable, and then our object got destroyed. So once you make use of your heap memory, right, and this is how you allocate memory from heap using new operator. It's your responsibility to delete it after your processing is completed. Now why do we need heap memory? This is a very simple case, and it doesn't make any sense to use a heap memory here, because you can do the same thing even with your sample local variable obj instead of a pointer variable. Now assume you have you need a stack variable and you have pushed 10,000 elements inside it, and if you want to push 10,000 more elements, that means your requirement of pushing variables into a stack keeps on growing as and when your program is being run. So in those case, your stack should be capable of adjusting its memory using heap using some way. Assume if you have used static array variable that holds 10,000 elements, it can accommodate only 10,000 elements. So what if I want to insert 10,000 more elements straight? That will not be capable of doing it. So now you have to have definitely some provision to achieve that, and you can achieve it using heap memory. This is a sample stack which I have implemented. This is it holds, we have a pointer variable which will help us in holding the elements that we are pushing to inside a stack. Initially when your stack is created, right, it will hold 10, it can accommodate up to 10,000 elements. Now as and when you push, right, when you know that stack has two operations, push and pop. When you push, right, and assume your top of stack has reached the maxes, that is your 10,000, right, initial limit is 10,000. Now what it will do is it will resize this stack and it will try to push the element. How does this resize happen? Let's go and check how your resize happens. Now this is the simple implementation of resize, right? I have created one more pointer variable and I have allocated memory. Our initial is memory is 10,000 and additional size is 10,000 more. Now that's how having, that means your new memory's capabilities to hold 20,000 elements of type T. Now this can be done only using your pointers. Now that's how your heap memory is helpful when you're working with huge number of objects. For example, in your most of your C++ STL containers make use of dynamic memory or heap memory to accommodate such requests. Now that's where you have to make use of your heap memory, and your heap memory is useful in such cases. Now if you observe, right, when our stack gets destroyed, our elements also get deleted. So it's your responsibility to delete the memory allocated from heap. Now few more things which you have to be careful when you're working with pointers is, assume you have deleted your obj here, and if you try to delete it again, let's see what will happen if we try to delete it again. And sorry, I compiled the wrong code. Yeah, let's run our program now. See, if you tried to delete an already deleted object, your program crashed because you tried to delete that object twice, double free detected. Now you have to be careful when doing such things. So as soon as you delete your object, right, it is your responsibility to assign it to a null PTR. Now if you run this program, it won't crash. See, it worked fine because your delete is intelligent enough to detect null pointers and try not to delete them again. Now let's check one more case where you're trying to access your null pointers. Or let's say our obj is null, and let's try to access this method after deleting it. See, your program crashed The reason being, you are trying to access a null pointer. Int star a is equal to 0, which is null, and you're trying to print that value here. That's why whenever you are trying to access a pointer, right, it is your responsibility to check for null variables. Let's try this. Yeah, this time it did not crash for some reason. That's what your program, your this obj1 is deleted and it's null, but if you try to access it, you should be at least getting that accessing sample cout print statement, but we did not see. That means your behavior is undefined. So in the earlier case we saw that it got crashed. So it is important to do this thing. You check for null pointer before trying to access that any pointer variable. This you have to always do this. Let's also see, your program is safe now. It did not crash because you are checking for null pointers. Two things which you have to there are a lot of other things, but most important things when you're working with pointers is you have to make sure you're not accessing null pointers, and whenever you're deleting your pointers, you make sure you assign it to null pointers. And as we have seen in your pointer arithmetic program, in the first program where we're trying to increment the variable, right, we are make sure we are making sure our pointers are always pointing to valid memory. If you assign your pointer variables to some invalid memory, your program is going to behave differently. Its behavior is going to be undefined. It could crash, it could do weird things with your program. So make sure you carefully use your pointers, and you make use of references where possible, because references always hold valid memory, and that's where your references were introduced in C++. And as we have studied, pointers are very powerful. They are very efficient if we make use of them efficiently and wisely. I hope you like my video. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe, and do watch my previous videos as well. Thank you. Bye.